As Trump continues to put America first by threatening other sovereign countries, well, we can add Greenland to the list of acquisitions that would now fall under the shiny banner of America's new geopolitical agenda. And topping today's international to-do list, well, Donald Trump picks up right where he seems to have left off about 5 years ago. But as you'll see, today's great response from Greenland's prime minister, resistance to Trump's encroaching international agenda, that may be growing. Let's take a quick look at how it all began.
It is undeniably beautiful. Under its stunning landscape, Greenland is also rich in mineral wealth. And it's a lot closer to America than Denmark. But the idea of the US buying the territory hasn't been a live one since President Truman was in the White House. So why did Donald Trump a week or so ago suddenly say he had his eyes on the place? It sounded like a bit of a joke at first, with this picture of a Trump Tower plonked on its landscape, tweeted by the president saying, "I promise not to do this to Greenland."
Greenland is for the Greenland people and nobody else.
Yet again, former US diplomats are horrified by the president's behaviour.
The world has typically had very, very high expectations for us. And as we look at this chapter in American history, I think the world's expectations of us have become much, much lower.
This is a president who loves a distraction and could do with one with stock markets tumbling. And he doesn't like rejection or the kind of ridicule that followed his talk of buying Greenland. But is it more to do with this man? Trump raised the Greenland idea out of the blue 2 days after news Barack Obama is also going to Denmark at the end of September. Could the two be linked?
Trump's staff became aware that President Obama was planning to visit Denmark on the 28th of September. And the contrast between the reception that would be given to President Trump on the 3rd of September and the reception that would be given to former President Obama on the 28th made them worry about the possibility for a major presidential temper tantrum.
Now, as we're about to report, Greenland's official response to Trump's latest diplomatic proposal, well, as pardon the pun, chillingly stern. Let's tee up today's report with this from Sky News earlier this morning.
Elect Donald Trump has revived his desire to claim Greenland from Denmark for the US. Buying Greenland from an autonomous Danish territory was a top priority for Trump during his first term in office. Danish PM Mette Frederiksen has called the suggestion absurd. Mr. Trump made the comments in a statement and has named PayPay co-founder Ken Howry as his ambassador to Denmark.
Hey, Jagger, according to the Straits Times this morning, Greenland is not for sale. Greenland is not for sale, its elected leader said on December 23rd, responding to comments by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump regarding the ownership and control of the vast Arctic island that has been part of Denmark for over 600 years. Greenland is ours. We are not for sale and will never be for sale. We must not lose our struggle for freedom, the island's Prime Minister Mute Igate said in a written comment. Trump on December 22nd announced that he had picked Ken Howry, a former envoy to Sweden, as his ambassador to Copenhagen, and commented on the status of Greenland, a semi-autonomous part of Denmark and host to a large U.S. Air Force base. For purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Trump, who takes office on January 20th, did not elaborate on the statement. The Danish government was not immediately available for comment. Greenland, with its Beefwattuk Air Force Base, is strategically important for the U.S. military and its ballistic missile early warning system, since the shortest route from Europe to North America runs via the island. During his previous term in office, Trump, in 2019, expressed interest in buying Greenland, but the proposal was promptly rejected by Denmark as well as by the island's own authorities before any formal discussions could take place. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen at the time labeled Trump's offer as absurd, leading him to term her dismissal of the idea as nasty and subsequently cancel his visit to Copenhagen. Frederiksen remains in her role as the Danish Prime Minister. Since 2009, Greenland has held the right to declare independence from Denmark, the island of some 56,000 inhabitants, which relies on significant budget transfers from Copenhagen each year, has so far refrained from doing so. Separately, on December 22nd, Trump threatened to reassert U.S. control over the Panama Canal, accusing Panama of charging excessive rates to the Central American Passage and drawing a sharp rebuke from Panamanian President Jose Raul Molino. So there may be three prevailing questions moving ahead. On whose behalf is Trump doing this? At whose behest? And to whose advantage? Well, those three whos, they could be the litmus test moving forward for future suggested policy. The answer to the first two whos, that may well change. But that last who, the one to whose advantage, I think the answer to that's always going to be the same. Probably not ours.